Where were you when the world stopped turning that September day? I know all of us have a story of where we were, and while my story was pretty powerful in that I was away from home in Kingsport doing a graveside service and tried to get a hold of one of our friends that we knew lived right near the World Trade Center, and the phone system was busy, and then finally we got through and they answered, and I just went into tears because I was so glad to hear their voices. As everything was happening in the morning, I called First Methodist Maryville, where I was the pastor, the associate pastor at that time. And they didn't even know anything was happening. And I said, get a TV and get it in the office and start to watch because you'll need to see this. And before I even left to go do the graveside service, I had gotten a call from Darris Doyle, and he was a senior pastor, and he said, we need to have a prayer service tonight. So you get back here and we'll do a prayer service. So I got back there and I actually made a sign. I just kind of crudely crafted a sign that said, altar open for prayer. And that night, it was one of the most sadly beautiful things I've ever been a part of in my life. There were people kneeling around that altar that I had never seen before in my life. There were men in mechanic outfits. There were doctors. There were car dealers. There were just any part of the spectrum of society was in there kneeling down together, because when all that happened, it unified us. Even if for a short time, it unified us. And you know, what I want to say today is I'm so thankful for that, and I pray for that to happen for us now. But how hard it is for us to unify when things are happening the way they are in society. But not just that, when we can't even get close enough to be at an altar and pray together like we did on September the 11th. But today I just want to ask you, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I ask you to stop and pray for peace among God's children. I want you to pray that the battles that we fight right now, that you would pray that God would help us to not only face them, but to win them. And I don't mean battles against each other. I mean battles against evil. Battles that determine whether or not God's church is unified and whether or not the people of the world feel comfortable enough that they could come and kneel with us like they did that night with us at First Methodist in Maryville. So keep that in your prayers. Continue to pray it, because even though we can't come to this altar and pray together, or the altar wherever you are and pray together, we can pray together. And God does hear our prayers together. So I hope you have a great weekend, and I hope you continue to pray for the unity of the children of God.